Hello my fellow whale watchers, today is going to be the last episode of my first hangar review season and I will cover my own hangar. Thanks a lot for everybody that has submitted a hangar and apologies that I could not cover all of them. I needed to select the ones that I thought are most interesting for my audience. Overall, it was great fun to do these reviews and I hope that they also have been a bit useful for you. I may do another season in the future in case enough viewers are interested. Just let me know in the comments. A bit of background information about this hangar first. My hangar is not really set in stone. Since I joined the YouTube Creators Program, I simply try out a lot because in the end I also want to create exciting content for you guys. So the hangar that you see here is something like my base hangar. If there are no event tasks going on and if I don't try out particular builds, so that's usually also the hangar that I use for squad gameplay, for example. At the moment I mostly play Beacon Rush because that's by far the favorite game mode of my viewers. However, I also still play Domination or Quick Matches. At the moment I build a Giftbringer Fenrir in the background simply because I promised you to do so last year when we all got one from Big Sonic as a Christmas gift. So let's start with the Acid Phantom. This is an optimized build for the role of a Beacon Rush starting bot and I used to run it with a whiteout drone, anti-control, a nuclear amplifier and last stand. At the moment I experiment a bit with this setup and run Battleborn instead of the nuclear amplifier. The reason is that often the Phantom does not survive long enough to take full advantage of the amplifier and by using Battleborn I further enhance its survivability. My pilot is fully maxed. I ran the Phantom basically since it came out and it's one of my favorite bots, so I'm quite experienced in using it by now. The Ravana with Havocs. Also this is a classic build and like the Phantom it is often underestimated even by Champion League players. It's very fun to run and my main damage dealer. I usually run it with last stand, balanced unit and a nuclear amplifier. When I run the Phantom with Battleborn, as it is the case here, I usually put the second amplifier on the Ravana instead of the balanced unit. Also, my Arnav Poe pilot is maxed and I run the Ravana with a paralysis drone. This is quite effective against tanks and titans. So the Ravana and the Phantom are my oldest builds that I have been running for quite a long time. Now let's come to the newer ones. The Orochi with Punchers suffered quite a lot from the 7.9 rebalance, but it is still a strong build. I run it with a nuclear amplifier, a leftover overdrive unit and last stand. Madame Brigitte gives me more tactical choices than Ghost, so that's why I prefer this pilot. In Beacon Rush, the Orochi is my second fast beacon runner, but it's actually more effective in Domination these days after the recent nerf. The rebalance is also the reason why I tend to replace this build when I try new things out. At the moment, I run the Orochi with an eye drone. The Toxic Shell, this is my favorite shell build, but I only managed to finish building the second Toxin quite recently. Why do I still run the shell? In my opinion, it is one of the best tactical bots in the game. With the right skills, it is very fast and tanky, and it has many tools that can come in handy in certain situations. The explosion ability, the shields, and also the Linda Kano pilot that gives a speed and damage boost when the ability is active. I run the shell with a Nebula drone, which makes it even more tanky. Last stand, a balanced unit and a nuclear amplifier also make a great damage dealer out of it. Finally, the Capri with Cramolas. This is my newest build and a gift from the Creators Program. The Capri is probably the strongest bot in the game right now, so I spent some additional resources to max it out to MK3. With Cramolas, I play the Capri as a mid-range support damage dealer, healer and beacon runner. A very versatile build that does not only provide reasonable damage output, but is also incredibly tanky when you use the right pilot skills. However, this is not even the strongest Capri build that you can run these days. With the new Misaki and Ponchi pilot, the Capri also becomes immune to effects while its ability runs. And with Toxins, Scatters, Flames or the new OP shotgun weapons that are soon gonna come into the game, this can also be used as a really effective brawler. I play the Capri with nuclear amplifier, repair amplifier and anti-control. As a drone, I currently use a Persephone healer drone. finally, the Baihu Luchador with 2 cinders and a Cataclysm. I chose the Cataclysm because like this I'm not completely defenseless against everything that is not at point blank range. And I also found it to be a little bit more useful than a Grom in solo gameplay when you run with random teammates. I recently got my first Titan anti-control and an Onslaught reactor that I run together with a heavy armor module and a Cannibal reactor that are leftovers from my Arthur that I used to run before. So this is my base hangar at the moment. What can be improved here? First of all, let's start with the Titan. The best module configuration for a Luchador at the moment is probably with 2 Onslaught reactors and 2 Titan anti-control modules. So this is definitely the goal here, once I manage to get them from somewhere. There are a few common setups for the Luchador that are run by top players at the moment, which is Grom Cinder, Basilisk Rite or also Basilisk Cinder. I'm happy with my setup, but may try things out just for fun in the future. I'm not planning to change anything on my Phantom or my Ravana for now. For this, we need to wait for the new shotgun meta that is probably going to be introduced in the 8.0 update, if these will become reasonable choices for these 2 bots. I tried out the Orochi with Smoothers recently and also released a video on it. I'm not so convinced yet of this build, but in any case I may replace my Orochi with the Fenrir quite soon, simply because that will provide me with a beacon rush beacon tank. At the moment I don't really have a dedicated one in my hangar. The Acid Shell, I simply like this build a lot, however it can be quite obnoxious that players charge their nuclear amplifiers on the shield. The logical choice for replacing the shell would be the Revenant. I have plenty of those in my hangar and may give it a try at one point, but at the moment I enjoyed the flexibility and the tactical tools of the shell too much, so for sure it will stay in my base hangar for a little while longer. Finally, the Capri. Here I'm planning to play around a bit with its weapon set and the module configuration. It would be very interesting to run it as a brawler as well, but it would simply be expensive to set up a new pilot and 4 light weapons from zero. So for now, I will level up the Cremolas a bit more and keep it in its role as support damage dealer with healing capacity. In the next update, not only new shotguns will come into the game, but also this Kairos robot that can transform itself into a sphere and roll over a battlefield. For sure, this is a great idea. I can imagine that this could replace the Orochi or the Shell in their roles as tactical beacon runners. But let's wait until the update and then see which parameters it will have on the live server and how OP it will be. Until that point, I'm sure that I will switch around setups in my hangar multiple times so that I can show you what certain builds are capable of or not capable of on the battlefield. I hope that you liked this final hangar review of Season 1 with my own base hangar. In case you want your hangar to be reviewed as well, you can find instructions on how to apply for a hangar review for the next season in this video's description. But as mentioned before, I will only do that if enough viewers are really interested. Thanks a lot for listening in and see you on my channel.